Hi, good afternoon, everyone. It's a privilege to be here today. And I'm actually just taking the time so we could get the battery in the clicker. So, as mentioned, my name is Reese Frenadez-Ruiz. I'm from the Philippines. And I actually came to Taiwan with my husband and baby. So, my husband is taking care of my baby now in the hotel. They will be here later at 4 after the baby's nap. You know, the usual baby things. So I'm here today sharing with you our experience in the Philippines. So it's great to be in Taiwan. I've been here probably 2 times already, and it's always amazing. I love the food. I love everything, except that everywhere I go, people speak to me in Chinese. And I cannot understand any Chinese, or I can't even speak it. But hopefully one day I could. I don't know if it's easy to learn, is it? Okay, thank you for the encouragement. Okay, thank you. It's a very encouraging crowd. Thank you very much for being supportive of my goals as a 33-year-old woman to still learn Chinese this late in life. So I'm here today to share with you our story. Our company's name is Rags to Riches. So we were established around 10 years ago when I was still a baby. Okay, so our story started 10, 11 years ago in a place called Payatas. Payatas is one of the biggest urban poor communities in the Philippines. So I live in Manila, and for most of you, have you been to Manila, Philippines? Anyone? Raise? Yay! Okay, quite a number. Great. So you'll know that Manila, well, the Philippines is a very beautiful country. We have amazing beaches. They're that amazing. I needed to mention them twice. Beautiful surroundings and mountains, but there's also great poverty around the place. So Payatas is where you could see a lot of people who are struggling every day. So it used to be the site for one of the biggest garbage dump sites in the Philippines, around 40 football fields big. And so a lot of people actually used to eat from the garbage dump site. Eat and get their furniture, their rings, everything that they have from the garbage dump site. So that used to be the problem in Payatas. And then after that, the problem was employment. The garbage dump site was closed, but they still, of course it's officially closed, but they still go there anyway and get a lot of the garbage, but it's hard to make a living. And a lot of the people there who are mostly stay-at-home mothers, like Ate Marge, would weave foot rugs out of scrap fabric. So the Philippines used to be, I think, about number 3 in garments manufacturing in the world, until, of course, other bigger countries that can do more manufacturing rose. And of course, we didn't have a lot of the factories anymore. But we still have a lot of scrap fabric. So these artisans, Ate Marge, for example, that I will virtually introduce to you here, she is a mother, and if you're very observant, you could see that she tied a rope from her toes to the crib of her baby so that she can rock the baby to sleep while weaving. See? So she needed to stay at home to take care of the baby, but at the same time, they don't have a lot of resources, so she has to find ways to feed her family. And even if she was very enterprising and would work really hard to weave these rugs out of scrap fabric, she would only earn 12 to 16 pesos a day. So I'll translate that for you. That's about 20 cents in US dollars a day. Not per rug, not per product. So she would make about 10 rugs a day, but she could only earn about 20 cents US dollars. And in any country, that is nothing. Why was that the case? Well, Ate Marge and her friends and her neighbors didn't have access to the market. It's a usual story we hear all around the world. So she had to go, and also she didn't have access to the supply of fabric. So she would go to a middleman who would buy it from another middleman, who would buy it from another middleman, who would buy it from a factory or a warehouse. And of course, let's go back to Ate Marge. She would make the products, she would make the rugs, she would weave them in her homes, and she also wouldn't have access to the market. She would go from one middleman who would sell to another middleman, who would sell to another middleman, and then to the market. So that is the story of her life. And she wasn't alone. She had neighbors and friends who would do the same thing. And so this was the profile of a lot of our artisans. They don't have a lot of opportunities. They don't have documentation in their own country. So about 40% of our artisans don't have birth certificates. I assume all of us have birth certificates here. Great. That is a privilege that we sometimes we take for granted, that a lot of people actually don't have the things that we do have. And they have no access to bank accounts. I don't know here, but in the Philippines, to open a bank account, you need 2 government IDs. And how can you have a government ID if you don't even have a birth certificate? So of course, they don't have access to bank accounts, which means that they also keep their money in very vulnerable areas, under their beds, in their cabinets, so one fire or one flood can wipe out everything that they have. But we thought, I want to go back the other slide. We thought that they were enterprising, resourceful, creative, compassionate, and resilient. So we thought, why not partner with these artisans? Because we thought that business partnership is the best solution for us. A lot of these artisans already were supported by different organizations before, different foundations, nonprofit organizations, but they only sell during bazaars, during trade fairs, but nothing throughout the whole year. So we thought, if we become a business partner of these artisans, we get to work with them so that they could have livelihood all year round. So we started by transforming the rugs from those multicolored rugs that look like, well, they're multicolored and the quality is not very good, to better looking rugs that have higher quality, tighter weave. But we took it a step further. We approached one of the top fashion designers in the Philippines. His name is Rajo Laurel. So none of us were in fashion. So we're 9 co-founders. None of us were in fashion. So we decided to cold call Rajo Laurel. You know, when you look at the internet, you look for a number, and then you call the number, and then you ask for a meeting. So we did that to one of the top fashion designers in the Philippines. We called him. Hello, Rajo. Hi, we know you. You don't know us, but maybe we can meet and talk about a collaboration. So we're very happy because Rajo has been very open about wanting to support a community as well. So you never really know who you can partner with if you don't ask. So if you don't do the first step. So that's what we did. And so we transformed the rugs. After meeting with Rajo, we met with him during dinner. He looked at the rugs. He rolled the rugs, placed 3 imaginary buttons, and he said, you know what, guys? This is not a rug. This is a wine holder. That's Rajo. And the wine holder is somewhere there. This is a wine holder. So just placing 3 imaginary buttons and transforming a product from $1 to $40 with a simple rolling of the rug, placing 3 buttons, and now becoming a higher end designer brand that the artisans can earn more from. Because if you look at products that are handmade and they are cheap, that's not a good product. That just means that somebody else is paying for that and it's not you. The one who's paying for that is the one who's weaving. So he or she is paying for that with his or her time. So we believe that if we're able to really assign the value to the products, they can get more value and the artisans can get more. So now we have evolved into a fashion and design house empowering community artisans around the Philippines. So we have fashion accessories, home accessories. Seems like I have to do this, like a dance. So, and this is how our whole supply chain looks like. We work with urban poor artisans, and also recently we've been working with rural indigenous community artisans who are making different textiles from their traditions. We put that together in our own workshop, assembly line. So these this area, we also have master artisans there who are assembling the products. And then we put them together into fashion and home accessories like that. And each product has a card with the name of the artisan who made it. So if you're somebody from, let's say, Taiwan, and you buy one of our products, you open it and look inside, and there is a name of an actual person who made the product for you. So you know that there is a very direct connection between you and someone else that you don't know, but you have impacted their lives. And then we sell in different retail stores. We have our own retail store in the Philippines and also online, and we also do corporate and international. So we've had a lot of success for the past 10 years. A lot of people, especially from the Philippines, have been really patronizing and supporting Rags to Riches. This is our Instagram page. And in 10 years, we have worked with about 10 communities, trained 1,000 artisans, partnered with 5 top designers from the Philippines, and sell through about 80 outlets all over the world. So from the outside, it will look like, wow, it's so amazing. You've done a lot in the span of 10 years. But behind that, behind the success, we learned a lot of lessons that were disguised as big mistakes. So I have 3 short stories for you today that will share just how we were able to make it and how we were able to create women empowerment and women employment, even if it's difficult, or maybe especially because it is. The first story is about the story about the 98%. So 98% is a good number, right? It looks like a good number, but it was actually our rejection rate when we were starting. So out of, for example, 100 rugs that our artisans would make, we would reject, how many? 98 of them. So 98% rejection rate. That was heartbreaking for our artisans and for us as well. But we realized that we absolutely had to do it because we have to be careful about the quality. Quality is important if you want to stay in the market for a long time. And so we realized this. And so we did a lot of back and forth training with the community artisans, a lot of discussions. But you know that one thing that really worked for us? During that time, there was about 30 of us. We went to one of the high-end malls in the Philippines. If again, you've been there, we have so many malls. And then we split into smaller groups so we don't look like a field trip. And then we went to the different stores. And the artisans themselves touched the bags that are being sold in the high-end mall. They looked at the price tags. None of them got a heart attack, thankfully. They were very expensive bags and other products and accessories. And then we came together again, and they told us, that's what it takes to be in this market. Okay, we have to get to this market. So after that, they themselves created their own quality standards. And that is still what we're using today. So now our rejection rate is less than 2%. It's a reverse from the 98% rejection rate. So we were very happy because that showed us that it didn't need us, so we didn't have to tell them, please increase the quality because we said so. But what we were able to do is open the doors that usually they couldn't get into and show them what they usually couldn't see. And when they saw it themselves, they decided. So we believe so much that if you just open as many doors as possible, people can learn and a lot of people can get out of poverty. So now for the past 10 years, we've had monthly job orders. I know this sounds like really simple, but in the world of livelihood, this is a huge deal. So in the Philippines, there are so many livelihood products. You will see them everywhere during Christmas, during bazaars, but after that, there's nothing, radio silence until the next fair, the next bazaar. So this is a huge thing for us. This means that our artisans reach the quality standard that is required, and they are persevering and they kept on improving. So what have you learned? We've learned that pity is not an empowering or sustainable selling proposition. So from the onset, we said when we sell Rags to Riches, we couldn't tell people, please buy the products because people are poor, or please buy the products because we need livelihood. But rather, you make a very good product that the market wants anyway. And then you tell them, oh, and it has a cause behind it. And now they become advocates and not just customers. The second story is about the animal print. So, we were not in fashion, but we got connected to this high-end designer, so we got a little overexcited, right? We said, okay, we're now in fashion, guys. Let us own this. So let us tell our artisans to source for animal print lining for our bags. So we told them, go out and source for animal print lining. You know the zebra prints, right? So we just said animal print. So they all went out, very excited, and came back to us with this. So cute, but so wrong. So it's not quite what we expected. So we ask ourselves, okay, where did we go wrong, guys? What did we say that was wrong? Apparently, when we said animal print lining, for a mother who's taking care of her 10 kids, who has to think about what to eat tonight, animal print is the most trivial thing ever. It's not part of what she thinks about every day. So we realized that, and we said, okay. So we had Spider-Man and Winnie the Pooh, Dumbo the elephant, so all in front of us. They were all used as curtains and pillow covers. And then we had to explain to them that, okay, this is what an animal print looks like. So we kind of bridged our worlds. It was not a testament to us being better than them, but rather us not understanding the culture and context where we were working in. We just came in there and like fashion people and just said what we think was so cool, but didn't realize that the people we're working with come from a very different background. And so we had to understand each other, not just talk to them, but really communicate with them. So now, after 10 years, well, it happened sooner than that. After about a year of talking about animal print and fashion colors and everything, they got into, can I do this? Vogue. So from animal print Winnie the Pooh, they got into Vogue UK, and a lot of people who are amazing in their own field started wearing their products. So that came from artisans who used to think that animal print is Spider-Man. So for us, that is amazing because now we're able to bridge our worlds. But more than that, more than what we taught them, they also taught us. They taught us that the best way to communicate is not to talk, but to listen, observe, and unlearn. Even unlearn. That was the most humbling experience for us ever because we all studied. I came from a good university, and I felt that I knew so much. So when I came to the community, I felt that I could teach them so much of what I have learned, a lot of my frameworks and methods and books, only to realize that I don't really understand the context on the ground. So I had to remove all of my preconceived notions and start learning from the ground up. The third and the last story is about the 3 cell phones. So when we were starting, the artisans started earning more and more. They started buying more and more cell phones. We didn't understand this in the beginning. We're like, okay, what are you gonna buy now with the money that you have? Most of them, okay, I need a 3rd cell phone. I'm like, what is happening here? So apparently, what we didn't realize is that a lot of the people look for symbols of success. And for our communities, those are cell phones. So that happened because, not because they didn't know any better, but because they didn't have access to the knowledge that they could actually spend their money on something better. So this is one of my most favorite pictures out of all of our pictures, even more than the Vogue photo, because this is a picture of all of the savings passbooks of our artisans. So they now have their own bank accounts. So we were able to facilitate a relationship with one of the biggest microfinance banks in the Philippines, and they now all have bank accounts, which is significant because about 86% of Filipinos do not have bank accounts. Our artisans are no longer part of that statistic. So we realized that creating the conditions to make empowerment happen is a long-term game, and we cannot do it alone. And that is why we have created 2 platforms that we can collaborate with other people. The first one is called the Artisan Academy. So all throughout the 10 years of Rags to Riches, we have been giving them modules on financial literacy, values formation, business development. So recently we decided to expand these modules to more communities around the Philippines and even around Asia. So there, that's one, because we know that we cannot do this alone, and hopefully we could share the lessons that we've learned throughout the years. And the second one is Things That Matter. Our website is www.thingsthatmatter.ph. It's a media and market platform for other social enterprises and brands with causes. So we're partnering with other social enterprises from the Philippines and hopefully around Asia as well. So if you know of any Taiwan-based social enterprise that's in fashion and lifestyle, do let us know. Because in the end, this is what we want to do. So remember her? Remember her? Yes, Ate Marge. She lived in Payatas. She was one of our weavers. And we believe so much that our impact goes beyond what our eyes can see. So this was her 8 years ago, and this is her today. Let's go back to that. This is her today. She's now one of our top performing store ambassadors in Rags to Riches. She's now in our store and shares the story and shares the inspiration to more people. So we understand how the role of a woman is really just beyond her own, but it goes to her family and to her community. And we've seen this not just in Ate Marge, but in all of our other artisans as well. So that is the Rags to Riches story so far, but I hope that one day it can get bigger with collaborators who are hopefully one of you in the future. Thank you.